And then there were four. The final four of the CDL playoffs, folks. The Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. Conference Finals here in the Car Demolition League. And it's a best out of three series in Game 1, folks, here today on this June 22nd playoff edition of CDL Live. Of course, you already know what's on the line, folks. And then, well, not today here, but nonetheless. We got four teams, and only two of them will be able to compete for this, and that journey has gotten these four teams to this point, and all four teams, 2 games in action here today on this June 22nd edition. The Eastern Conference Finals going to be leading the way today. Brandon, first time he's had Tampa Bay there, coming off his first sweep in playoff history, well, his playoff history, first sweep in his career, knocking out the New York Empire 3-0 in the conference semifinals. But not to be outdone, Tim Giesser's Hartford Homies knocking out his own Philadelphia Demons in the Eastern Conference Finals by a final 3-0. So both these teams impressive in the playoffs so far. The number 1 and 2 seeds of the Eastern Conference, Southeast Division champions, the Tampa Bay Gators, Northeast Division champions, the Hartford Homies. Of course, Hartford on the road today here for Game 1, but they know the way the CDL playoffs work. Once you hit a best out of 3, the winner of Game 1 gets home field advantage for Game 2. So, you know, the Gators would love to get the win, try to get the chance for the sweep here in the conference finals. And, of course, the Hartford Homies looking to get the win in Game 1 to force Game 2 back at home to where they would have a chance to sweep. And should be definitely an entertaining matchup between these two teams. But then, after that one, we get to the Western Conference Finals. It's a rematch of the 2012 Western Conference Finals, as a matter of fact. Let's go back, rewind 3 years here, folks. The Aliens, Roswell Aliens, taking down the Los Angeles Blades 2-1 in the 2012 Western Conference Finals. Came up short in Crash Bowl 16 that year. But nonetheless, folks, Blades and Aliens set to go at it again. One of those rivalries from the Western Conference that every once in a while rears its ugly head, if you will, and but it's fun when it happens, folks. So Game 1 in their best of 3, of course, the Blades, the number 1 seed of the West, and the Aliens, the number 6 seed of the Western Conference. Now, if the Aliens can win this series, they will break the record, folks, set by the Bradford Brawlers in 2012. They were the lowest seeded team ever to make it to a Crash Bowl back in 2012 when they did it at the 5th seed. The Aliens looking to do it from the 6th seed here, folks. And, of course, Bradford, we remember Shane Giesser, the youngest. So many records broken that year. They were not just the lowest seeded team ever to make it to the Crash Bowl. They were the lowest seeded team ever to actually win the Crash Bowl. And the owner, Shane Giesser, at age 6 at the time, my nephew, folks, able to actually be the youngest owner ever to win a Crash Bowl. So records broken in that season, the 2012 season. So 2015, the Aliens looking to break the record of the team that broke their hearts back in 2012, which, of course, the Bradford Brawlers beat the Aliens back in that Crash Bowl 16 matchup. But nonetheless, Blades, Aliens, best out of 3 series, along with Hartford and Tampa Bay. It's all happening right here, folks. 4 different owners still in the hunt. Marissa Fox with the Aliens. Alex Johnson looking to win back-to-back Crash Bowls for the first time in CDL history. He's got his Blades. Tim Giesser's Hartford Homies and Brandon's Tampa Bay Gators. It's all up for grabs, folks. Game 1 in their best out of 3 series. Conference Finals right here on CDL Live. Let's get down to the field for that first matchup. Tampa Bay home against Hartford. Game 1. Best of 3. If I messed that up the first time. Let's get down to the action. Welcome, Toy Car Demo fans, to our June 22nd game day here in the Car Demolition League. And folks, today it's time that we get started with the Conference Finals. Leading the way today here, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals about to take place. The winner of this series, of course, which is a best out of 3, will go to Crash Bowl 19. So, folks, we get ready for these two teams to hit the field. The number 1 and 2 seed of the Eastern Conference, fighting their way through to this point. And the number 2 seeded Hartford Homies, Northeast Division champions, coming out trying to get the upset here in Game 1. And but I don't know if you can really call it an upset. Such good teams on the field, really. Now, Tampa Bay did score a win against Hartford in the regular season, but with all the defense on their squad, there's certainly a lot of counter capability for the Hartford Homies. So should be very interesting, folks, to see just what happens here. So the Gators, of course, the number 1 seed in the East, second best record in the league, and having a pretty good road to get here. As a matter of fact, only losing 1 playoff game so far. And, actually, as of right now, okay, Hartford lost 2 only so far. So, but nonetheless, it's pretty well evenly matched teams going head-to-head here. Folks, should be fun to watch. A smash-mouth type of style being brought by the Homies. And, of course, a more defensive type of style mixed with a little bit of smash-mouth offense in the lineup for Brandon's Gators. So, taking a look at how both teams got here. Round 1. Hartford Homies, the number 2 seed, taking on the number 7 seeded Puerto Rico Players, winning that series 4-2. They go on to take on the Philadelphia Demons. Tim Giesser's 2 squads going at it. Battle for TGI pride, and the Homies getting the win in that series, bringing them to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2012. And Tim Giesser trying to get the Homies in the Crash Bowl for the first time since 2006. Facing that lost roster curse, so to speak, that has been put on him. But nonetheless, everybody remembering those 34-0 Hartford Homies of the 06 season. Brandon trying to make it to his first Crash Bowl in his career with the Tampa Bay Gators, gotten them now to their first Eastern Conference Finals in franchise history. And not the first time he's been in the conference finals. Just last year he had San Jose in the West. Of course, San Jose out the first round. But Tampa Bay took down number 8 seeded Bradford in the first round, taking down the Brawlers 4-1. Second round, clean sheet, sweeping the New York Empire was Brandon's first playoff sweep. So definitely should be interesting to see what happens here in Game 1 of this best-of-3 series. And keep in mind, folks, the winner of Game 1 gets home field advantage for Game 2. So that's the way it works here, folks. And also, then we know where Game 3 would be. But that's, of course, if necessary. That being said, Tim Giesser's Hartford Homies. And Tim Giesser in the house with us tonight right here up against Brandon's Tampa Bay Gators. Brandon said that he felt honored to play against you in the Eastern Conference Finals. Tim, going into this finals, where do you expect him? What are the emotions running into this finals here? Not saying a word, folks. And Tim Giesser letting the cards talk. And maybe he doesn't want to say nothing, folks. With that being said, let's get a look at the lineups for both sides. Hartford Homies, Tampa Bay Gators. And here we go, folks. Both Tim Giesser and Brandon leading the way with smash mouth offense here. 46 junior out there for the Hartford Homies. Ratified out there for the Tampa Bay Gators. And game on, and just like that, 46 junior has a flip, and Hartford has the quick 5-0 lead. And that brings out battle now for the Tampa Bay Gators. That's the defensive side, and he stays up right there, but interference. Battle known as the car with the brain. Able to see where he is on the field, and he has a flip there. And, folks, the score tied at 5. And they'll bring out hammer now for the Hartford Homies. Smash Mouth card to the core, hard to get off balance. We'll see what he can do against Battle here. Of course, Battle, very good defensively, but not as heavy as Hammer is. And now Hammer from the home side of the field. And a good spin cycle by Battle right there, staying alive and doing so yet again. Able to stay in it. How long can he hang on here? Is Hammer getting the offensive opportunities? A little wobbly there, but able to come down up and stay on all four wheels. And this time surviving somehow is Hammer. Good opportunities by Battle. But most of the time here, Hammer's weight coming into effect. Forcing those offensive chances, but Battle hangs on and has the flip right there. 10-5, the Gators in the lead. And that brings out Indy 5 for the Hartford Homies. Definitely an all-around threat. He can produce offense, good at defense. Now here to take on Battle and try to keep the Homies alive here in Game 1 of this series. So here we go, and both cars switching sides with offensive chance and interference right there. Both Battle and Indy 5 still up anyhow. They'll continue to go at it, and both cars are going to be down, so the Homies still alive in this game, folks. Indy 5 and Battle both taking each other out, and that will bring out the 5-point gainer for the Hartford Homies, Sonic Boom. Good lightweight defensive car, and another good lightweight defensive car to match up with them right there, 47 Ronin of the Tampa Bay Gators. So here we go, folks. I look for the right. Sometimes it just feels weird on the fingers. Sometimes, folks. They go at it for the game on the line, for Game 1 of the series, and both cars staying up so good defensively. And that time, ooh, was there an interference there? Folks, we are going to have a review. I'm calling it a clean flip, and we're going into overtime. This one I do want to send up into the booth. Was contact made between 47 Ronin and Battle right there? Or was that Sonic Boom and Battle right there, actually? I went the opposite. Yeah, Sonic Boom and Battle. We'll see if there was contact made as it stands. A good flip right now, folks. And we will be tied at 15 heading to overtime, but let's get a closer look. Okay, folks, on the replay, took a look at it one frame at a time, and folks, no contact was made. The ruling on the field stands. We have a good flip, and folks, Game 1 going into overtime. Sonic Boom will come out for the Hartford Homies, trying to get the win in OT. And it's going to be Phantom from the Tampa Bay Gators 5-point gainer spot, trying to get the win in OT for them. Lightweight defense versus Smash Mouth style offense, more of a heavy straight-on heavy metal attack at Phantom carries. We'll see which one reigns supreme here in Game 1. Both cars up after the first collision, going at it again. And you see the weight of Phantom coming into effect. And both cars good defensively at the moment. You see Sonic Boom, a good rotation there, kind of a spin cycle, able to save himself. And Sonic Boom has the game-winning flip, and the Hartford Homies take Game 1. 20-15, the final score in overtime. And the Homies are going to be on home field. I'll put it. The Homies are going to have home field advantage for Game 2 of this series. They clinched that right there. And if necessary, folks, Tampa Bay will have Game 3 back on their home court, so to speak. So definitely that's if that happens, though, folks. Tim Giesser, 1 win in the book, 1 win away from Crash Bowl 19. Anything to say on the subject matter? Nothing. Back to me. Staying silent is Tim Giesser, and can you blame him? Knows the challenge that Brandon presents on a CDL field. Gave it his all today, no doubt. And it goes down to overtime, but the Homies just a little bit better here in Game 1. They take that 1-0 series lead. Coming up next, folks, the Roswell Aliens, number 6 seed of the Western Conference, trying to become the lowest seeded team ever to make it to a Crash Bowl. Even beating out Shane Geiser's Brawlers record back in 2012 when they made it as the number 5 seed, but they are on the road to take on the Los Angeles Blades, defending world champions and trying to make it to their 3rd straight Crash Bowl, folks. Alex Johnson's Blades up against Marissa Fox's Roswell Aliens. It's next on CDL Live. Stay tuned. Welcome, CDL fans, back to our June 22nd edition of CDL Live. We just saw the Homies taking down the Southeast Division champions, the Tampa Bay Gators, in Game 1 of their best-of-3 series. Of course, now without a fight, folks. Tampa Bay taking that game in overtime and looking for just as much of an entertaining game here. A rematch of the 2012 Western Conference Finals, as a matter of fact. The Roswell Aliens and the Los Angeles Blades. Of course, in that season, that was definitely an epic one. Of course, the Blades losing 2-1 in that best-of-3 back then. And now that was just the first of now 4 straight Western Conference appearances. 2012, 13, 14, and 15, the Blades making it to the Western Conference Finals. And now the Aliens ready for that little rematch against them here. The Aliens on a quest here, folks, trying to be the lowest ranked, or I should say the lowest seeded team ever to make it to a Crash Bowl, trying to do that from the number 6 seed. And, of course, the Los Angeles Blades, the number 1 seed in the West, defending world champions, and trying to make it to their 3rd straight Crash Bowl, folks. And, of course, as I said, defending world champs. They want to be the first team ever to win 2 Crash Bowls back-to-back. So that being said, folks, I'd say, are ready for Game 1. But first, how they both got here, folks. And Roswell Aliens, what a first-round series. Getting that sweep against the Chicago Wind Attack to move on to round 2. In round 2, meeting up with the San Francisco Shinobis, getting the 3-1 series win there. And then the Blades, 4-1, they knocked out the Idaho Cowboys in the first round. Second round, folks, they ran into the Nevada Thunder, old rivals of theirs, and beat them in 4 games, 3-1. Both these teams coming off that 4-game winning series and ready to take each other on. Game 1 of this best-of-3 coming up. Let's get a look at the lineups. Roswell Aliens and the defending world champion Los Angeles Blades.
We will begin transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I love LA. I love the truth. I love LA. I love the truth. I love LA.
And here we go, folks. Leading the way for the Aliens today will be Dragonfly, and countering defense with some pretty good all-round play, and not to mention defense. Talking about the 2014 MVP, Far Future. And Far Future's down. 5-0 Roswell off the bat. And that will bring out Pink Indy Jr. now for the LA Blades. Trying to tie it up, and almost did. Dragonfly staying up. Staying up yet again is Dragonfly here in Game 1. No interference there. Both are still up and going at it again. And Dragonfly able to get a 10-0 lead for the Aliens. On a roll here. Now Greelina standing in his way. So Greelina trying to get the Blades back in this game, trying to keep them in the game. While Dragonfly trying to get the win for Roswell in Game 1, and it's not going to happen. Oh, it does happen. Dragonfly coming back up at the last second there somehow. And able to stay in the game. So, as they continue to go at it here. Dragonfly and Greelina, I thought he was down, folks. Able to somehow use that momentum, and it's a shutout in Game 1. Dragonfly getting the job done, and the Aliens take a 1-0 series lead over the Blades. And, folks, how does Dragonfly do it? As soon as I thought he was down and out of the game, folks. Down and out of the game. And beat that 3 count, I'm pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, So, but nonetheless, before I brought out the Blades onto the field, I was going to go right over there and do it, and all of a sudden, able to pull himself back up, and he gets the Game 1 win for the Roswell Aliens. So, Game 2, Blades on the road to take on Roswell. And, of course, both that game and Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals going to be on the June 24th game day, folks. So, of course, Hartford winning game 1 on the road. Roswell winning game 1 on the road. Game 2, both teams got home field and will be looking for the series sweep and trying to punch their ticket to Crash Bowl 19. So that being said, James Hulse here, folks, owner and creator of the Car Demolition League, thanking you for watching. And until next time, take care of yourselves, be yourselves, and peace.